It would seem as though.
Hi. Oh my god, I was trying not to cough that entire time.
Hi.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's okay. The plague is going around.
Yeah, well, also my allergies at nighttime and morning time. I took Benadryl last night to go to sleep. Because I have a hard time because my throat itches so much.
Yeah.
I can't stop coughing, and my man has to wake up at 3:30, so... Bitch took I drugged myself. I drugged myself to go sleep.
You gotta do what you gotta do. I went to sleep at like 11.
That was so late, girl.
I know. Well, you know, I was watching TV. I was watching the Goldbergs. Anyway, I went to sleep at like 11, and at 3 o'clock in the morning, I woke up going, "Oh my god, why does my room smell like skunk?" Because I had the fans blowing in the window, like I always do.
Yeah.
And I was like, is it... Because I sleep with a CPAP machine. I was like, is there something wrong with my machine that it smells weird? Because, I mean, obviously it's blowing air directly into my nose.
Yeah.
You know, and so I thought... And sometimes if the water in it goes dry, it smells weird, but not like skunk.
Yeah.
And so I took it off, and I'm all, no, I still smell it. And I went over to the window and smelled as the fan's blowing in on me. I go, nope, I smell it. So I turned the fans so they were then pushing air out. But I was like, oh, what the fuck is happening?
Someone was just outside your window smoking lots of weed.
Lots of blunts right under my window.
Yeah.
Blowing it up to...
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, blowing it up to my window. And I thought, damn it, Annika, go back to bed.
I know. Girl, you know I'm not up that late. What are you talking about?
I know. But then, I had so much trouble going back to sleep.
I bet.
Because it was like, I had done too much.
Yeah, girl.
You know, had I just gotten up, peed, and gone back to bed, I'd have been fine. But too many things had happened.
You had to, like,
laid there wide awake going, why does my house smell like skunk?
Mm-hmm. I know.
Yeah, so I'm a little out of... Plus, I've been coughing.
Oh, my God.
Because, you know, Parker was sick last week.
Yeah.
And this week... And mine, compared to his, is like nothing. I have a little cough. Mm-hmm. But it's worse at night, of course.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so then I put on my mask, and it's blowing air into my already dry throat, and I'm all...
Yeah, how do you deal?
Not fun.
How do you even deal? You don't.
I don't.
I just don't.
I just
deal.
cough.
And
miserable.
hate everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, girl. I'm never up that late. Oh, that's not true. Occasionally on a weekend, Gab and I'll be like watching a show we're really into, or doing a thing or whatever. And I'm like, oh my god, it's 11. We have to go to bed. But never past 11. Like, I'm usually in my bedroom. 6:30. 7. And then
I get it.
And then we're watching TV and chatting, whatever. And then, by 9:30-ish, or usually earlier, I'm like, night. The TV's still on, but it's low.
Night.
And then I go, night. Yeah, girl, I'm too sleepy. I like my sleep.
I get that. Welcome to another week of It Would Seem As Though, the podcast where we talk about anything, everything, and clearly nothing.
Mostly nothing.
I wanted to share this morning this ridiculous... so Trump...
Okay.
He's an idiot.
What?
And I think everybody who isn't brainwashed by the MAGA nonsense can see that he's an idiot.
Sure.
But I'm going to play this clip, and he's talking about the drought in California.
Oh, good.
And the water, in order to protect a certain little tiny fish called a smelt, they send millions and millions of gallons of water out to the Pacific Ocean, way up north. Never even gets close to here. And you know, in Los Angeles and Beverly Hills, all these rich areas, they want to give you like 38 gallons of water to use. You buy a house for a lot of money, and then you're allowed to use 38 gallons of water. But you have no water down here. And the reason you have no water, you have the canals. The reason you have no water is because Gavin Newsom didn't want to do it. I had it all done. I had the Department of Commerce at the time. Believe it or not, they're the ones that rule on this particular issue. So you have millions of gallons of water pouring down from the north with the snow caps in Canada and all pouring down. And they have essentially a very large faucet. And you turn the faucet, and it takes one day to turn it. It's massive. It's as big as the wall of that building right there behind you. And you turn that, and all all of that water goes aimlessly into the Pacific. And if they turned it back, all of that water would come right down here and right into Los Angeles. They wouldn't have to have people not use more than 30 gallons and 32 gallons. They want to do that, they're trying to do that. And you have so much water, and all those fields that are right now barren, the farmers would have all the water they needed. And you could revert water up into the hills where you have all the dead forests, where the forests are so brittle. Because no place is like California. I go to Austria. The head of Austria tells me, we have trees that are much more flammable than what you have in California. We never have forest fires because they maintain their forests.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are we all done listening to him?
They have trees that are more flammable, but they don't burn. But more than anything, the giant faucet in Canada that you take a day to turn it, because it's as big as a wall, and you turn it on, and it runs water directly to California. I'm not sure if he knows where Canada is.
No. Also, it's funny, because obviously the people listening, he was giving that speech in RPV, which is Rancho Palo Verdes in California. It's close to San Pedro. It's in Los Angeles. It is on the coast. It's really close to Catalina Island, if anyone knows where that is. It's like the Beverly Hills of the South Bay, you know what I mean? So it's more south than Los Angeles, but it's like the last part of LA County. Currently in RPV there are lots of landslides and shit. The land is breaking away because, well, that's going to happen. You live by the ocean.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's happening there, but Donald Trump has a golf course in RPV. I tried to work there, not the golf course, but the spa, because it was a job out there and I didn't really, but yeah, it's funny that he's out there. I used to live in Pedro, so seeing him that close to anything that I used to like is weird to me.
But I want to know what his people are even, when he does this, when he goes off script and off, off book, as they say, and he's just like talking about nonsense. It's like, he's talking about, I went up through, Northern California, and there was all these barren fields, and in the middle of the field was this little spot of green, and I'm like, what's that? It's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I feel like his people spin it in a way that it's like they're reading the Bible. Like, everything is a metaphor. You know what I mean? Everything is like imagery and parable.
Right.
Like, they're trying to... Well, what he meant was... So, it's all about interpretation.
Well, and that's where that always goes. What he meant...
Yeah. And so it's all about how you interpret what Donald Trump says. It's not about what he really says. It's about how you interpret it. And only the righteous can interpret it correctly. Like, it's just very biblical to me. And it's so crazy. Yeah, I don't know how anyone... Like, the faucet that you get to turn on and then all that water will just run right down here to LA and you can use more than 32 gallons. I don't know.
And by the way, who is told that they can only use 32 to 38 gallons of water?
And it's not that. They restrict you in LA during a drought.
Yes.
Of course. But is LA in a drought right now?
I don't know.
Here's what I'm going to tell you. The last 2 years, LA has pissed down rain. It has rained so heavily that when we were down there...
because of climate change.
Yeah, things were green. Things are actually green opposed to, dead. And
also Northern California, where he's talking about... Northern California has a lot of rain.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
And lots of green fields and whatever.
Yes.
So, yeah, just nonsense.
Yeah.
But still, to me, the best part of that whole thing is the giant faucet.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. It's because it's bananas, girl. Like, that doesn't make any fucking sense.
No.
But
so much of the shit that he says doesn't make sense.
No. And remember, he's the one who was like, well, if we would have just swept our forest, we wouldn't have these fires. When he was president, remember, when all the fires were on the West Coast?
Right, and then we learned from the genius that is Marjorie Taylor Greene that it was Jewish space lasers that caused the forest fires.
Yeah.
And I'm all, how do any of you have jobs?
Girl, for real, this makes me feel confident in the fact that I could run this country.
Oh, yeah.
Because I know nothing, and I know more than they do.
But speaking of politicians...
I don't want to anymore.
Mark Robinson.
Who's he?
He is...
I don't know him. Who is she?
He's the Republican nominee for governor of North Carolina.
Great.
Black man.
Oh, I do know.
Who Trump referred to as Martin Luther King on steroids.
Like, better than
Martin Luther King Jr. He... CNN was like, something about this guy.
Fishy.
And so they did a little deep dive on old Mark Robinson.
Oh, Mark.
And found a whole bunch of shit that he had commented on a porn site.
Oh, okay.
And it's called Naked Africa, I believe is what it's called.
Yeah.
And it was some good stuff. One, he referred to himself as a black Nazi.
Okay, love that.
Yeah. Oh, it's nude. Yes, Nude Africa. I'm going to see if I can get to his actual quotes, because they're all so good.
He's crazy. A black Nazi. Girl, what do you even mean?
Yeah. Well, and this is the same guy who, in trying to lock down bathrooms so trans folks couldn't use, the right bathroom, said if you're a man on Friday night and all of a sudden Saturday you feel like a woman and you want to go in the women's bathroom at the mall, you'll be arrested or whatever we got to do. First of all, that's not at all the trans experience, but okay.
Sure.
And we've got to protect our women, is what he said. However, he was like peeping in women's bathrooms.
Awesome.
When he was a kid, but he said, "Oh, one of my favorite." So he said, and I'm going to use what is now an offensive word.
Okay.
Because I'm going to quote it exactly.
Okay.
He said, "I like watching tranny on-girl porn. That's fucking hot. It takes the man out while leaving the man in. Yeah, and yeah, I'm a perv too."
What? Where did he leave this comment? Like, was this
on the boards on this Nude Africa porn site? Yeah.
Gross.
But he also was talking about how because I'm trying to find the exact one where he was talking about peeping in a women's bathroom because he found peepholes, and he was like 14, whatever. But he admitted that he still liked to do it. Mm-hmm. So CNN came out and said, "This is all your email."
Yeah.
And they didn't have to search very hard.
Yeah.
Because, the internet is forever.
Right.
And he's, of course, immediately like, "Not me. I didn't do it. I didn't say it. It wasn't me. I don't know. You're just trying to, cause trouble because I'm running for this office and you don't like me." Well, it's not going away. Well, 4 of his campaign people that work on his campaign quit.
Of course.
Because they're like, "No, we want no part of this."
Yeah.
The Republican Party has said, "We would really like it if you would stop associating with Trump and you would just step out of the race." Yeah. And he's all, "Fuck that. I ain't stepping out the race. I'm, going to win this race," which I imagine believes he really will. And it's like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah, that's really gross. He's crazy. I'm looking at all the shit he's saying. He's weird, and that's really gross. And y'all want to talk about trans people being the problem. We'll talk about queer people being the problem. Here's the real problem. Republicans.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm not sorry about it, but if you can
the fact that they've put all of their eggs in the basket that is Donald Trump.
Yeah, girl.
And I don't for a minute think that any of the ones that have been around for a while think this is a great guy. No. They think this is a guy we can manipulate.
Well, but I think that older Republicans also, a lot of them don't like him. A lot of traditional Republicans don't like Donald Trump.
Right.
Yeah, girl.
Okay, so I found I came to a spot that was a dead end and had 2 big vent covers over it. It just so happened it overlooked the showers. I sat there for about an hour and watched as several girls came in and showered. I went peeping again the next morning, but after I went back, the ladder was locked. So those 2 times were the only times I got to do it. Aw, memories.
Okay.
Yeah.
This man's a creep.
He is a creep in so many ways, and then he's trying to make, as all of them do, all of them who are freaks, who are, it's like, and I don't, listen, if your thing is to watch pornography with a woman, assigned female at birth woman and one that's trans I don't care.
Do whatever you want.
But don't then try to make laws against trans folks.
But like, listen, all the people who are making laws against trans people are also heavy into watching trans porn. Or like I told you, during the pandemic, or right after the pandemic, Pornhub, which is like a very large porn website, a hub for porn, posted...
Oh, sorry.
Excuse me.
Sorry.
What are you doing?
Sorry.
We're doing a podcast.
I know.
Anyway, they posted results of what category of porn was searched the most in what state. Just to be like, hey guys, this is fun.
Yeah.
In most southern states or very conservative states, it was often transgender porn. Which, like, again... do your thing.
Yeah.
But why are y'all then legislating against trans people? Why are these people who want to, like, create basically separately equal again, or, I don't know, internment camps for minorities, why then are they into, like, minority porn? You know what I mean? That shit's fucking weird to me. Like,
it is weird.
You're into it.
Well, but it's like for years now we've been seeing these people who are lawmakers trying to pass the anti-gay law, and they're the ones who are having boys in the bathroom or whatever, and
tapping their foot under the stall,
right? Or have some boy on the side that they're paying to keep quiet.
Like, why you need to put all your political effort and money into creating legislation that could ultimately harm you?
So listen, if you want to be queer on the DL, I don't care. But then don't try to harm the queer community.
Yeah, that's dumb.
Don't try to harm the trans community because you think that's what you should do, because you think that's what your constituents want. You're like, well, they really want me to outlaw gay people. Well, you can try that.
Yeah.
It's never going to work.
Yep. You know, I'm going to tell you what. In the right situation, everyone's kind of gay. Do you know what I mean? You put anybody in certain situations, it will happen. I'm telling you. Send a man to prison. Yeah. Send a woman to prison.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? At some point, your biological need to, I don't know, have sex or be intimate or be close overrides your wants or desires. You know what I mean?
So, this is crude, but I'm going to say it anyway. So, in my 200 years working in a drag bar, one of the things that we always used to say, because straight men would come into the bar, it'd be like, well, you know, if you get them hard, then they don't care. Then it's like then they're free game. Yeah, because they at that point their brains have now shut off. Yeah, because there's no blood left. Head, and it's like, oh, well, she's girly.
She's pretty.
She's pretty.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. And you're right. I think you're right. I think in every situation, or in some situations, everybody's going to be a little gay.
Yeah, and I think sometimes for different reasons, right? Sometimes it could be self-preservation. That's like, you know, finding you a man in prison if you another little man. Like, you got to do what you got to do.
I have no desire to have sex with women.
No.
Nothing wrong. I love women.
Yeah.
I think women are, you know, beautiful and what have you. I don't want to have sex, and I'm not attracted sexually.
No, I can be like, you're
but if
sexy.
I were in jail, you can bet your ass I would find the biggest, toughest lesbian to be like,
hey, daddy.
Take care of me.
Yeah, girl, for fucking real.
No. I'm sorry, but would I trade sex for safety? 100%.
Are you kidding me? I traded sex for less. I was hungry one night. What you mean?
Wait, wasn't that a shoe store sex? No, that was
sex for less.
That was shoes for less.
Yeah, but the scary thing is about, like, cisgendered men is that the moment that they're turned on, they're ready to, like, boink whatever. You know what I mean? They'll, like, basically fuck whatever. But what the youth like to call the post-nut clarity, so after you orgasm, the clarity of your mind, that's how a lot of gay men and trans women end up dead, because men will have sex with them and then have clarity, and they will have what they call the panic defense, and then often beat them or kill them, and then be like, oh, well, I panicked because I had sex with a man or a trans woman.
And I didn't know.
Or like, but in some states, the panic defense is completely banned, which I'm super grateful for, because how do you know, having sex with somebody that they are, you know what I mean? If you're going to be intimate, naked with somebody, I'm pretty sure you're going to figure something out. You know what I mean? If they're not what you expect, and if you continue to have sex with them, then that was on you, girl.
Well, absolutely.
Yeah. The panic defense shit pisses me right off. Well, I panicked. Girl.
I'm going to change the topic for just a second.
Please do. Why?
I don't know why this book is even... If this is like a my husband just sent me a text.
Does he not know we're doing the podcast?
Apparently not, but it says, what he said was, I think it's too late for our family. Read the name of that book.
Passport to Purity. The fuck is that?
I don't know if that's a book he found at work. I don't know. Yeah. Passport to Purity. A tour guide parent's manual. What?
Probably.
Passport to Purity. I would say for our family, we are long past that.
Yeah.
You know, that ship has sailed.
Yeah, except, I don't know, your children are this weird gray area that I don't really know. Because I think between you, your husband, me, and Gavin, we're very, like, nothing's really shocking. We understand all the dirtiness. But your children, I'm always like, how are you raised by this family and you're still so sheltered? Like, there's some shit that I'm like, how do you not know things about things and stuff? Because at your age, bitch, I knew more than most adults. You know, I knew more than Grandma did.
Yeah.
You know, and she had 3 husbands. Yeah, well, bitch had lots of sex, and I was, 13 and knowing what things were, and I shouldn't have known? And,
yeah.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just, it's really
It's funny because, there are things I'm like, how do you not know this?
Yeah.
How, and, you know, I will talk to them about stuff.
Yeah.
And Parker, you know, he will listen, he will comment, he will giggle.
Yeah. Right. That's expected.
But he's a 13-year-old boy.
Yeah.
And Grace will listen until it's then
too
uncomfortable to listen, and then she stops listening.
Yeah. Well,
you know, whatever.
The other day when you were telling me that you explained to them how gay men have sex.
Yeah. Well, I specifically explained anal sex.
Right. And
and it all started because they were watching some YouTube thing, and they, I don't know why or what, but it was how some guy at the emergency room got a shampoo bottle stuck up his ass.
Yeah.
And it's like,
why would he do that?
And why would he have a shampoo bottle in his ass to start with? And I'm like, oh, okay, it's time for that conversation.
He probably used the excuse, I slipped and fell on it. Yeah. Which, you have to have great aim, baby.
Yeah. First of all, the slipped and fell, that to me is the, they're not my drugs, I'm holding for someone else. Yeah. You know, it's like, people say it, but nobody ever means it.
No one ever believes it.
No, and nobody believes it.
No.
Because I had a friend who worked in the ER, who used to, when she would come get her hair done, would tell me stories of the things that they found inside people. And I was always like,
an Academy Award.
Right. Well, it's kind of the right shape. And it has that nice big base on it, so it won't go all the way
We
in.
hope not.
We hope not, right. But it's like, okay, I didn't think nobody ever explained anal sex to me.
Yeah,
No, I mean, not in a, like, here's what that means.
Yeah.
And I'm like, trying to explain it in a way that I'm not being overly graphic.
Sure.
But then here's where I kind of probably failed. Because when Grace was like, I don't understand, I said, and I quote, some people like to be fucked up the ass.
Girl. Yeah,
and I was like,
true.
I can't make it any more clear.
Yeah.
Then it was like anal, and she was just like not being able to understand what I was like, okay.
But she understands, like, traditional sex.
She
like
does.
Penis and vagina sex,
I
right?
think because I asked her, I go, you know traditionally how children are conceived.
Yeah, a stork comes.
A stork comes right and drops the baby off.
Yeah. Love.
Because whoever thought of that ridiculous story?
We really wanted a baby. So
was it people who just really never wanted to tell their children about the birds and the bees?
Adults back in the day were kind of, they were scared of talking to their children about literally everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just, anyway, so when we were talking about that the other day, I was like, interesting. Because your children have grown up with gay people, around gay people, know hundreds of gay people, gay men specifically, I would, lots of lesbians, I suppose, but I would expect, I don't know, assume that they know. I would just assume that they knew what anal sex was, because if there's 2 men who are in love and they're intimate, I don't know, I just made assumptions that a child would know, because I did. You know what I mean?
I think when I was their age, I did not.
Right.
Maybe I did. I don't remember. It doesn't matter. I knew a lot about sex at that age.
Yeah, but your children also have
I was already having sex.
Because you're already a slut.
Yeah.
I
was a total whore.
But your children also have the internet. And we know one of your children
has looked up porn.
Oh, yeah. So it's just, there are things that, it's interesting to me, the things that your children don't put 2 and 2 together. You know what I mean? To create like a whole equation. they're like, these two men, they both have buttholes and penises. Something has to happen. You know what I mean?
Yes.
These are just assumptions I make. But your children, I thought I was very sheltered, but
you were not very sheltered.
I feel like it because I was raised by grandma who was so, like, I couldn't walk anywhere by myself. I couldn't do anything alone.
Right,
you know,
right.
I felt sheltered, but I guess differently because I knew too many concepts and things that were very adult content.
So, something that always kind of struck me as funny with my mother. So, my mother was married 3 times, had 6 children.
Yeah.
Each of the husbands that she married them because she was already pregnant. And so, she, of course, when we were kids, was all, here are the rules.
Yeah.
You know, you have sex when you get married, blah, 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 blah. And it was like, when I remember when I met, so I didn't meet my father and his side of the family till I was 14. Mm-hmm. I remember talking to my grandmother, and I don't know why she felt the need to tell me this. But when she's telling me the story of her effort to help my parents get together and get married, and she was like, "Well, you know, he had to marry her because she was already pregnant." Blah blah blah. And at that moment, I swear to God, my whole world just like turned upside down. I was like, "Wait, what?"
Yeah. They were married first. You're lying.
How on earth are you so puritanical
Ma'am.
when you know you were pregnant at 17?
Girl, I'm saying.
By a sailor who came to town for Rose Festival.
Bitch.
Who you just met.
I want you to know that...
I'm not saying anything against that because I absolutely would do the same thing.
Yeah.
And have.
Yeah, I get you. But
didn't get knocked up, obviously, because, I can't, but...
That is so true, because Grandma was married 3 times. Grandma was...
And then had a freak of a boyfriend.
Yeah, Grandma was a little haughty since she, her whole life. Men drooled over her. And, I just remember being a preteen and being like, I know what a blowjob is. Or whatever, younger than that. And Grandma was like, I didn't know what that was until I was, 35 years old. And I was like, what? Shifting. My world shifted that
And by 35, she already had 6 children.
Yeah, so I'm like, how did you not know?
By the time she was your age, since, 35 is the number you chose... By the time she was your age, she had 6 children, and 3 of us were already in high school. So that's when she learned what that was?
Yeah. Yeah. She procreated, I don't know, like crazy, right? She was a rabbit, but she just was really naive about sex.
Yeah.
That's weird to me.
It is weird.
I get it.
But it was also...
No one talked about it.
When she started having her period at the age of 10...
Jesus
went home. Well, the school nurse said someone needs to come get you because now you're bleeding. You're a problem.
Yeah,
whatever. As opposed to just going, come on in here. Let's get you some. Whatever they had at that time. I assume it was just Kotex.
Yeah.
Whatever. The ones back then that had straps and stuff to hold.
You just wore a jock strap essentially.
Kind of, I think.
Yeah.
Anyway. But instead of that, it was well, let's call your parents. Well, both of her parents were at work. So they called her friend's mom, who was a neighbor, who took her home, got her all the things she needed.
Well, that's good.
Whatever. Yeah. But wouldn't tell her any of the information she needed because she's like, well, that's your mom's place. And I don't want to overstep.
Yeah.
Okay. But then her mother, what she said to her was, well, now... that now that you are having your period, you can't ever mess around with boys. That was it. Well, to a 10-year-old, mess around with boys is probably roughhousing and playing and doing things. And she had 3 brothers who she played with all the time. Whatever.
Yeah.
And played and fought and did things in neighborhood boys. And I know she has told me that she was like, I had no idea what that meant.
Yeah.
Don't mess around with boys.
Yeah. At 10 years old.
Right.
Crazy.
What?
Yeah.
And I don't remember if I talked about it on here, but I feel like I did. Was that when I was in high school, she came to school one day for the senior swap day thing. And that just happened to be the day that they explained the reproductive system. And that was the day she learned how it all worked.
Girl, so maybe not so far off that she was...
she was 36.
Yeah, that she learned about reproductive system at 36 years old. So maybe she was learning what a blowjob was.
She learned why you have a period, how you have a period, and then how pregnancy even happens. Because she knew it happened by having sex, obviously.
Yeah.
But it was the mechanics inside the body that she had no idea.
It's so interesting.
And that is crazy to me. Now, my children, when they were little, we got this book that I think it's called How Are Babies Made or Where Babies Come From or some such nonsense.
Hell.
Right.
Girl.
Children are the devil's spawn.
Yeah.
Anyway, but it talks, I mean, it's like, here's how this happens. Mm-hmm. It's like, for a baby to happen, it can't happen out of nothing. You have to have an egg. Mm-hmm. And it said, not all bodies have them. Mm-hmm. Some do, some don't. And then you have to have sperm, and not all bodies have that.
Some do, some don't.
But those things have to get together, which can sometimes happen in the conventional way. Sometimes it happens in like a test tube, whatever. But however it happens, you then have to have somewhere for that baby to grow.
Yeah.
And it talks about kind of all... So they've known since they were little the basics of sex. They know why you have a period, how you have a period. Because I started talking to Grace about it when she was like 8.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know when she would start her period. You can't ever know. And I was like, I want to make sure by the time she has it that she's not freaking out going, oh my God, I'm bleeding to death.
Yeah.
And her biggest thing was this, I don't ever want this to happen again. I need it to stop now.
Yeah.
And I was like, good luck with that. It's going to be about 40 years of this happening.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, the idea of not talking about it, not explaining it. Yeah.
There's something, this is a little off topic. Because, I know. Tangents are topics, bitch. The other night, when we had a sleepover with the kids last Friday.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? We were watching a horror movie and playing games and whatever. And Parker talks the whole thing because Wally's Parker. And he said, we were talking about children and how they're exhausting and needing a break. Because I said something about, sometimes you kids just come over here to have sleepover, hang out, so mom and papa can have a break. Oh, so they're not going out? They don't need to go out. Sometimes they just need a break from kids. They need some, like, alone time, adult time. Even just to sit in silence, not have kids around.
Yeah.
And Parker was like, oh, when I'm older and when I have children, I'll probably just come over here and hang out with you. We can play video games. And I was all, yeah, totally. But then I was like...
And where are you going to leave your children?
I know, but then Gavin and I were all, when he has children... And we both were like, that can't happen. He cannot have children.
No,
he better not have children. And then, of course, I'm thinking of him having biological children.
Right.
And I think about the conversation that has been going on since birth with him.
Can't have
that you should not have biological children.
He probably physically can.
He should not.
Right.
And then I didn't even think about the fact of him adopting children. I was just thinking, I was like, why is he thinking about having kids now? Because, of course, I for whatever reason... I didn't even think about him adopting. I just thought, oh God, now he wants to have children. Oh God, now he's going to push out some kids.
Well, and Grace said to me one day, not that long ago, I want to know what it feels like to have a baby.
Oh, and
I said, and you can maybe go through it in 10 years,
maybe-ish. Yeah.
But I don't recommend it at all.
Ever.
For you,
Scary,
but whatever.
Girl. Yeah.
Oh my God, so...
But I called her out on that the other day when she was over here. I said, so I heard that you told Mama you want to know what it felt like to be pregnant. She's like, yeah, I really do. And I said, no, you don't. Girl, no, you don't. Because you don't just get to feel what it feels like. There's things that come with that.
Yeah.
Responsibility, decisions, whatever.
Perhaps we should get her one of those pregnancy bellies because I know there's also ones that have the little electronic things on the end that make you also feel like what it feels like to have contractions.
Oh my God, let's do it.
Yeah. I mean, really, because I know that they make them specifically for men.
Yeah.
So men can have some sympathy for their wives or girlfriends or whoever.
We should.
But it was like, I want to strap this belly on you and then...
Electrocute you.
And then electrocute you so you know what it feels like.
So you know what it feels like.
Well, you know that I have that TENS unit.
Yeah.
That you put on and it makes your muscles...
I have one too. So we'll both use it. Same time.
Put it all over her belly and turn it up full blast.
Strapping them all over her.
And that's what that feels like. Right.
Her hair starts to stand up.
Oh, God. Yesterday. Was it yesterday? I feel like it was yesterday.
Who knows?
Who knows? Who cares? We were talking about driving.
Ugh.
For whatever reason.
Yeah.
And I don't even remember. Oh, because I think we were talking about her probably never getting a driver's license.
Yeah.
And I said,
but she really wants a car.
I said, but when the time comes for me to no longer drive,
yeah.
I'll be fine turning over my, license and keys and whatever and saying, I'm done.
Yeah.
Now you're going to have to drive, Miss Daisy, because I'm done driving.
I don't know who the hell you're going to be saying that to, bitch.
I don't either, but...
I can't drive. I don't even have a license.
I know. You don't even know what a car is.
What's a car? Yeah.
And so I said, who knows? It could be in 10 years. Because, whatever. And she goes, and this is her first response. She goes, 10 years? Well, who'll drive me to school? I said, baby girl, if you're still in school in 10 years...
Oh, we have bigger issues, honey.
Yeah. Because in 10 years, you'll be 25.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh... you didn't think about it, whatever.
How funny.
And, maybe if you go to college, it is possible you could still be in school.
Absolutely.
But if by 25 you haven't figured out how to get there, then we have failed as parents.
We all should just lay down and die.
Because it's really?
I know, that's so funny. Well, how am I going to get to school? Well, sister.
I think high school will be over by then.
Praise.
So you'll probably be fine getting to and from school.
I want you to know how funny it is that every time I see Grace and I say, how was school? Tiring. And that's what she has said since she started high school. Beginning of freshman year, tiring. Nothing else? What'd you learn? I don't know. How was it? Tiring. Okay. You have years of this left, bitch.
Right. I don't know. Yeah, her big answer is, I don't know. What did you do today? Tell me one thing you did today.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah. Oh, God.
You can't remember a single thing you did all day? Mm-mm. That seems odd, but whatever.
It's too much. You just don't understand. Parents just don't understand.
Yeah. Going back to our topic of politics and whatnot.
Oh, good.
One of the things I want to talk about is the abortion ban.
Yeah.
And how Trump keeps saying it's not an abortion ban. We just send it back to the states. And then there are states who have 100% banned abortions.
Yeah.
And most of the medical help that goes along with that. Mm-hmm. And so now women are dying.
Yeah.
And of course, that can't possibly bother them because, children are dying in school every day with guns and they don't want to do anything about that.
Yeah.
But what I didn't know until yesterday, and it didn't surprise me, is that it's also many more women of color than white women. Now, when I heard that, I was like, well, of course it is.
Yeah.
Because it always is.
Yeah.
It's always when there are fucked up things happening in medicine or in healthcare or whatever, it's always predominantly to people of color.
Yeah.
Because they're not taken as seriously, and people of color, as everyone knows, don't feel pain like white people do. It's like the ridiculous stereotypes and stuff that still exist and are taught even to people who are practicing medicine are like, these are so archaic and they were never true. So why are you still even going with any of that? But these women are, becoming septic and because everyone's afraid to treat them unless they are ready to bleed out or whatever, and then it's too late.
I know.
And then they're talking about, because during Kamala's speech, she talked about these women, bleeding out in parking lots at the hospital because the hospital wouldn't take care of them. And immediately, instead of them actually doing anything, the folks who were, on the other side were like, well, who are these women? Where are these women? This never happened, blah, blah, blah. Immediately, of course, all these families came forward and said, my mother, my sister, my wife, my whoever. And then this woman came forward who was like, and I almost died. Mm-hmm. And because of it now, I can never have children because it totally fucked up her system. And it was like...
making things way worse, stupid idiots.
But your laws don't affect anyone other than that fetus that you're so worried about?
Yep. I know. Girl... I just don't want people care so much. I don't understand why it's any of y'all's business, bitch.
But these are the same people who believe that up to 4 weeks after you have the baby, you can still kill it.
Even though they're not even doing anything for abortion in these states. But you can still kill your baby 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, girl, I don't...
That month-old baby, you're like, you know what?
I'm sick of you.
That baby kind of ugly.
I thought you were going to pay rent.
Right.
I just don't get it. I don't understand why Republicans, conservatives, these neo-Nazi maggots are just Why are you so fucking miserable? And why do you expect to make everyone else miserable? Because you can't find it within you to follow some sort of decent path, to even just learn to start tolerating other people. Because even though I hate the idea of just like, oh, we need to tolerate others, y'all need to start learning to tolerate others that you don't like. Because what the fuck is wrong with you? You're all concerned, you're all pro-life, yet you're letting mothers die because they need medical help, but doctors won't work on them because you've banned abortion. Yeah. And we knew this was going to happen, because you're never going to ban abortion. You're just criminalizing it. You're criminalizing abortion, and abortion will still happen, because guess what? People are still going to need abortion. People are still going to want to terminate their pregnancy, and they'll figure out all the ways in which to do that. And I want you to know, we live in the age of fucking information, ho. We can find plants. You know what I mean? There are many plants throughout history that women have used to induce abortion, to terminate their pregnancies. And if you think that there are witchy bitches around this nation, around the world right now, being like, what plants?
I'm going to brew up some stuff.
For real. And it's not that hard. You grow some plants, or you go buy them, and you take it in a certain way, and you induce abortion, you induce extermination of the baby, or the fetus. Perfect. Then fine. It's still not good for the parent, or the mother, right?
No.
And it still could, there's repercussions that could happen to your body. But if somebody doesn't want a baby, bitch, they're going to find a way to not have a baby.
Well, and throughout history.
Throughout history.
Now, I would, if y'all can find it, I would tell you to watch the movie If These Walls Could Talk. The first one. I mean, the second one's good too, but it's not about that. So the first one's all about kind of the choices a woman had for having babies. And it's 3 segments. The first one is in the 50s, the second one's in the 70s, and the third one's in the 90s. Mm-hmm. And the one in the 50s, abortion was illegal.
Yeah.
But it still happened.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, many of the women who had it died.
That's where we get the whole coat hanger abortion, back alley coat hanger.
Right. But I highly recommend, if you can find it somewhere, to watch it, because it really deals with it in several different ways. But that's the thing, is no matter what they do, no matter how they make abortions illegal or whatever, it's still going to happen, but women are going to die in the process.
Well, and that's the thing. You can make all the laws you want about human nature, right? About human evolution, how people live their lives. You know what I mean? Being gay, being queer, how that all, the morality police, that kind of bullshit. Like, you can legalize whatever you want or criminalize whatever you want, but people will find ways to do it. It's not going to stop people from doing things that they want to do because you said don't.
Right.
People have been breaking the law for many... Girl, this country, this nation was founded on breaking the law from where? England, ho. So, Shut the fuck up. Yeah, people will break the law. If the law does not benefit human life, if it is not beneficial to the populace, then why follow it? No thanks. Because morality and legality are almost never equal. You know?
No.
Yeah. Anyway.
So, enough of that for now. I want to talk about this woman. Her name is Jackie Shane.
Jackie Shane.
She is a black trans woman who was a singer in Nashville in the 50s.
Okay.
And all of the things in that sentence should not make sense. A black trans woman sing in the 50s.
Yeah, and you were saying she's singing like punk.
Right. Well, Elliot Page just made a documentary about her. She is getting a marker in Nashville.
I love that.
Which... the first of its kind that is actually commemorating a trans woman who was like kind of lost to obscurity because she wasn't that well known, but she was a staple of the Nashville. Jackie Shane.
Jackie Shane.
Yes, and so her family and some other folks made a concerted effort to get her name back out there.
I love
and
that.
To get her recognized. Because she did have a career, and she worked in, the business and whatever.
Wow.
Yeah, so I think that's pretty cool. I don't know the name of the documentary, but I'm sure you can find it.
But it also says that she was very well known in the local music scene of Toronto, Canada, but she's from wherever.
Nashville.
Yeah. And then she died in Nashville. So she went in Canada is where she had a lot of success. Interesting.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So I just thought that was cool. And I'm going to be doing a little more looking into that.
Yeah.
Because I want to find the documentary.
It is called Any Other Way. It's called Any Other Way, the Jackie Shane story. Came out this year. And I don't know where you can watch it, but somewhere.
Well, I'm sure we can find it.
Yeah. But Any Other Way, the Jackie Shane story. I'd love to watch that.
All right.
I love documentaries.
Well, that'll be our homework between now and
Homework. Girl, I have enough of that. I'm in grad school, bitch.
I know. Well, I tell you what, take a break from one of your crime shows.
You know what? I'm going to need you to watch your mouth when you speak to me. Just because, listen, I have watched 25 seasons of SVU. And then I've watched...
So let's talk about that for a second.
Okay.
How many episodes are in a season?
Enough.
20? 25?
About between 23 and 25.
And each episode is an hour.
Between 40 and 42 minutes.
Right, without commercial.
Mm-hmm.
And I would like you to do that math. 25 seasons. We'll say average 23 episodes.
23 times...
25.
Mm-hmm. It's
Go ahead. What is that?
575.
575 episodes at 45 minutes apiece. So 45 minutes.
25,875 minutes is what I've watched. So, but that's just of SVU. But here's the thing.
I know, it's like all of the crime and punishment.
So yeah, I've watched Special Victim Units, all of it. I've watched all of it. And then I've watched Organized Crime, which is only 4 seasons. But I've also watched all of that. Both those shows are still ongoing. So the new seasons are coming out, okay?
All right.
And now I'm on to Criminal Intent with Vincent D'Onofrio. And it's fine. It's not my favorite. It's okay. I watch it while I do other things because it's not as exciting. It's not Olivia Benson and...
Now, and hers is still on, right? It's still making new seasons.
Yeah. Her season 26 comes out October 3rd, girl.
Season 26.
I know. Well, and you know how I recently got that crew neck hoodie? Or crew neck sweatshirt that has a picture of them flipping off the camera?
Yeah.
And
you told my children those were your parents.
Yeah, and Parker said, "Who is that?" And I said, "Oh, they're my parents." He's like, "No, they're not." And I said, "Yeah, huh? They're both just really busy detectives in New York City, so they had to give me up for adoption."
Right.
But now my mom is just a really well-known captain of the NYPD. I know. I was like, God, don't yell at me.
Well, so all I'm suggesting is maybe, just perhaps, between homework and your 5 million hours of crime shows, you could take a little minute to watch this documentary.
Yes, I would. And you want to know what? I've learned some stuff. Granted, I know it's television.
Hang on, you've learned stuff.
Yes, crazy. I know it's television. I know a lot of it's, like, not necessarily true. But there are things that are true, like the laws and shit that they use, and obviously it's true and whatever. But I've learned, like, specifically, if I'm going to commit a crime, what to do, but more specifically,
so you're watching them like a how-to.
I'm writing notes the whole time.
Okay.
But, like, all the things that early seasons of, like, SVU, which is, like, 1999 and on, it's, they didn't use computers, right? Or they did, but it was no one trusted them, and they were very...
Right.
No one was using, like, DNA markers the same way. Like, it was really... It's evolved a lot. So now, police can literally do anything from a fucking computer. And, like, they can... all the things they can do and figure out and track and find, and it is bananas. So if you think that you're getting away from anything, I think again, bitch.
No.
Yeah.
See, and that's why I just decided as a very young person, just not for me. The life of crime, not for me. Well, and actually... When I was in 8th grade, 8th grade, 9th grade, around there. I think 9th grade, maybe.
Yeah, you got arrested.
I did. I was for prostitution. Yeah. No, there was a movie or a documentary on TV called Scared Straight.
Right.
And, I mean, I was already Miss Goody Two-Shoes as it is. But then I watched this documentary, which when they aired it on television, so I'm 15, so it would have been 1977.
Sure.
When you couldn't say any curse words, not even like hell and damn. And then they showed this documentary that was filmed in a prison, and at each commercial break, they're like, you know, when they would come back, they'd be like, you know, warning, this has, you know, foul language and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Well, because they dropped the F-bomb, but it was in prison.
Yeah.
And they took these kids who were on a troubled path.
Delinquents.
To a prison.
Yeah.
And said, this is what it's really like. And they showed him, like, how they could be, traded for favors or for cigarettes or for whatever. And they were like, well, so I want you to go over to this person because they now own you. And blah, blah, blah. And it was, like, very terrifying to me. And I watched that. And again, was not considering a life of crime.
No.
I mean, I think the most criminal thing I had done is, taking the tag off my mattress that said under penalty of law to take that off.
And considering you shared that mattress with your 5 siblings, right. How dare you?
But I watched that and I was like, never, ever, nothing. I won't even, like, jaywalk because if I get arrested, I'm just going to die.
Yeah. I have always been
because I'm way too fragile and soft and...
I have always been afraid of going to jail and going, but that didn't really stop me from committing crime. Girl, and here's the thing. I wouldn't say I haven't committed, like, a heinous crime. I've never, like, murdered or raped or sexually abused anybody, right? I've never done anything like that.
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah, mine has just been, like, drug use, sneaking into bars when I was underage, sex work, fun things,
Well, crimes that literally are not hurting anyone.
That's what I'm saying, right? And so, like, again...
But, I mean, although if the bar got caught, they let in a minor, they could lose their license.
That was not my problem.
No, and it never is. And it's not like you were the only one or the first one.
No.
It's been happening as long as bars have been open.
But, I mean, yeah, there are different things that I did. I mean,
not that I ever did it.
No, of course
not. Once, not ever.
You have a little halo, bitch.
I know.
And I just saw how goody you were, and I said I could never. So I just turned to the path of darkness. But, I mean, I've also, like... I was young. I've shoplifted. I remember being in high school and shoplifting a Lip Smacker's lip gloss and sweating all the way out the store. Yeah, my friends thought it was really cool. Like, let's go steal from Payless in McMinnville.
Yeah, whereas my experience is very different. That I went to the grocery store in Carlton. Or as we refer to it, the big store.
The big store, yeah.
That's country people for you. The big store.
There was the big store and the little store. You had to decipher which one was which.
And I went with my friend Robin.
Oh, Robin.
Who was... let's just say that Robin was a tough girl. A criminal. So we're in the store, we're doing our thing, we get out of the store, and I think she bought cigarettes. But I don't think she bought anything else. Because they would sell you cigarettes even if you weren't 18.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, you could go with a note from your parents saying, please sell my child cigarettes so they can bring them home to me. And they would.
I love that.
Yeah. And like a kid never forged a note saying, sell me cigarettes. Anyway, we get out of the store and we're across the parking lot. And she opens up her coat and it is like full of shit. Because she's still, and I never saw her steal anything.
Yeah.
And I about peed myself because I was like, if they'd have stopped you, I'd have been in trouble too because I was with you, and I would have been an accessory. And nobody ever believes I didn't know they were doing it or I wasn't part of it or whatever. Nobody believes that.
No.
And so, but she was all, oh my God, calm down.
Yeah.
We're out of the store. Nobody's following us.
Yeah, we're fine.
And I was like, I don't care. If you want to rob the store blind, I don't give a shit, but don't do it with me.
Yeah. I'm with you.
Because I was all... And I'm like, had I taken anything, I would have been sweating and fidgeting and...
Yeah, I can't breathe.
Like, somebody looked at me and be like...
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. Yeah.
It fell into my pocket.
Yeah, it really wanted me to take it home. It was sad. Yeah, that's me.
So, I mean, on that note, my children learned that lesson very young because we were at some thrift store and Parker pocketed some things... And he was little. I don't remember how old he was, but it was a long time ago. And when I found out, it was like, well, we're going to take you back to the store. You're going to give those things back and apologize and pay for them. And he was like, not having it. He was like, I'm not. Well, you have to. Period. Is it humiliating? Yes. Is it meant to be? Yes. In the hopes that you never do this shit again. And as far as I know, and yes, I know kids do lots of things their parents don't know about.
Yeah.
As far as I know, he's never done it again.
No, not that I know of either. And I would tell you.
I know you would.
Yeah, I know. One thing, let me tell you about those children. They know that I'm a narky narc McNarkerson. I will tell you anything. They all know that.
Here's what I could never figure out.
Yeah.
How all those foster boys we had never... caught on that you were the narc.
Bitch, I want you to know that I will always narc. If it's going to benefit me, bitch, I'm a narc. And here's the thing. I always say...
Even though snitches get stitches?
Bitch, come give me a stitch. Try me. At work, though, because I like to get in with the employees, and that's usually a good thing, and usually I don't have things to say, but when they're doing dumb fucking shit or coming to work wasted, I'd be all, hey, manager, guess what? This is happening. Yeah. But don't tell anybody that I told you. Because the moment they find out that I told you, then you have lost your inside man. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so I always hate it when people are like, well, I heard from Annika that you... No, you didn't. You heard nothing from me, bitch.
Well, and so all the foster boys would tell you anything. Anything and everything. Yeah. And so the one lesson I learned was to never go up to a kid and say, did you steal this thing, whatever? Yeah. No, because they would deny it. But if I went up to them, the boys, and I'm going to separate this out and say it was the boys, because I would go to one of the boys and go, why did you take this thing?
Yeah.
And instead of them being able to go, they would go, well, because, then start into their reason. But they would never say, did Annika tell you? Never. No. They never were wise. What was interesting to me is we mostly had boys. Mm-hmm. When we had girls, it was totally different because I could go up and go, why did you do this thing? I didn't.
I saw you do it.
I saw you. They didn't. It wasn't me. Mm-hmm. And they would hold on to that until, like, the grave.
Yep.
And it's like you could show them a photograph of it. It's like, wasn't me.
Active video. You could replay it in real time.
Let me show you this. Yeah. You know what? That wasn't me. I wasn't doing that.
Someone looks like me, huh?
Yeah.
It's very grandma. Well, I don't know who did that. Someone came down there and pooped in my toilet and clogged it. Like, no, they didn't. You did it.
Somebody stole all my underwear.
Nobody wants your underwear.
But it is funny to me that it's like boys would be like, yeah, I did it. Because they're dumb. Yeah. And girls would be like, nah. But the other thing, and I know I've talked about this before because I think it's so funny, and I know it's a stereotype, so it doesn't obviously fit all.
Yeah.
But my experience with having foster kids was the boys could be so mad that they wanted to kill one of the other boys. Mm-hmm. And then they would, fight it out, whether that be verbally or physically. And then they'd be fine.
All fine.
Then they're friends again. Mm-hmm. Whereas a girl will hold on to that until the end of time, until she can get you back.
Yeah.
Even if it's 20 years later.
You stole my crown in preschool, Shayna.
Right. Why did you stab her? Well, because 20 years ago.
We were in pre-K. I really wanted that orange, and she's...
I had the big box of crayons.
And she broke all of them.
She broke them. And I've never gotten over it.
Yeah,
and
honest. Yep.
I had an acquaintance that I worked with who... literally, I don't know if he was scheming and just waiting for the right moment, but 20 years after one of his friends had wronged him somehow, he found the perfect opportunity to, pay them back. But it's like, 20 years later, you were hanging on to that for 20 years?
So you weren't really friends that entire time.
So clearly not. But it was like, what?
That's tiring, babe.
First of all, I can't hold on to anything that long. No. Because I don't care.
I forget what I ate last night half the time, bitch.
I know. Because if I'm mad at you, I can't hold on to that either.
No.
I can be like, I don't want to talk to you, but I can't keep up the energy of being mad. It's just too much work.
It is, yeah.
I'm too lazy, I think. I just meh.
Listen, I'm tired today, so I'm mad, but I'm not going to show it.
Right, I'm mad, and I put on my mad face, but I don't even want to wear that very long because it takes an effort.
That's my normal face overall, honestly, my resting bitch face.
Right. So I do want to say that on the 15th of this month started Hispanic Heritage Month.
Yeah.
It's from the 15th of September to the 15th of October. So next week, we're actually going to talk about that a little bit. We were going to today.
Yeah,
but we didn't get there, obviously, and our show's almost over.
Oh my god.
But I did not know, and maybe it's just because I'm a dork, or maybe it's just because I'm a white woman, I don't know.
You are a woman.
That each year when they do Hispanic Heritage Month, that they have a theme.
A theme, yeah.
Yeah. And this year's theme is Pioneers of Change, shaping the future together.
I love
that. So next week,
let's find pioneers.
We're going to talk about some pioneers that are not Sylvia Rivera, because we've talked about her many times.
And not pioneers that went across the Oregon Trail. Not those pioneers.
No.
Even though I always thought it was cool we lived in Oregon. As a kid, I thought that was so cool.
That we were at the end of the trail.
Yeah. It's called the Oregon Trail.
So
I guess
we were the destination.
Oh, bitch, and I live here.
But what's funny to me about that is that so many places along the coast are like Cape Misery and Point Doom. And
natives of Willamette Valley used to call it the Valley of Death. So. Well, and I think it's because... I don't know science, so...
Well, I know that when Lewis and Clark and the real person who led the crew there, Sacagawea, when they got to Oregon, they're like, this is fucking dismal.
I know.
It was gray and rainy and awful and whatever. They're like, we came all the way here for this?
Yeah, it's beautiful, though.
It is beautiful. It's green and lush and wet and gray.
And was untouched except by indigenous people.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Which it should have stayed that way.
Anyway, so next week we will be talking about Hispanic.
Oh my god.
No. Hispanic Heritage Month. Words.
It's nap time.
It is nap time. We just got up, but it's nap time. Actually, I've been up for hours.
I took Benadryl last night so I could sleep, so I'm still tired.
So you're still sleepy.
So, anyway.
Yeah. And if you have somebody that you think we should talk about, by all means, send us a little email to itwouldseemasthough@gmail.com, and we will absolutely do that.
We will try.
Yeah. And our show comes out every Wednesday.
It does.
So tune in, make sure you like, share, and subscribe, because then you'll never miss an episode.
Never, girl.
And you certainly don't want to miss an episode.
Yeah, no.
Because who would? Crazy people. I don't know.
We're just so great, and
we are the greatest.
I know.
We love us.
I love me.
But now
I gotta go, girl.
Me too. I gotta take a little nap.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Bye, bitch.
Bye.
Bye.
It would seem as though.